Hi there, I'm Dr. Laquita J, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about all things in between being and becoming a pharmacist. How you doing? You all right? Hi there. If you do not know, I am a nail plastic success strategist. I help pharmacists shift their mindset, strategize their plan, and study effectively for the nail plastic exam. And today, in this video, I always say today, but I need to say in this video, right? Because you can be watching this whenever, and I don't know, right? But I keep saying today. Anywho, in this video, I do want to share the biggest mistakes pharmacists make when you're studying for the exam and studying for the NAPLEX and the NAPLEX North American Pharmacist Licensure Exam. And this I want to cover this topic because I am a NAPLEX success coach. I do help pharmacists shift their mindset, strategize their plan, and study effectively for the NAPLEX exam. And I have been a NAPLEX success coach since full time since 2020. I started out in 2017 because I had a hard time passing the exam, and then when I finally passed, and people were so amazed like how I passed, and people started coming my way doing like one-offs. But then I was in school. I decided shortly after graduating from pharmacy school, I decided to get my master's in public health. And doing that, I couldn't try to work, get my master's, and coach. It was like too much at one time. So I decided to put a break, take a break from that, and then just focus on school. So when school ended, I decided that, hey, people still reaching out, and I wanted to do it. And I would say this, one of the biggest things that the initial fact, well, I'll say the catalyst for me deciding to start back coaching was honestly, one of my dear friends, she called me. She said, hey, I just want you to know I shared your information with a person, with someone. I actually met a pharmacist, and she's having trouble with the NAPLEX exam. And she says, you wouldn't believe where she works. I said, what are you talking about? So, and she was like, not only just sharing my story, how uplifting it was, but there was a pharmacist, a whole pharmacist, who graduated from pharmacy school, who could not pass her board exam. And to make ends meet, not shaming at all, but to make ends meet and do what she had to do. She was working at Waffle House, and that's a breakfast restaurant. And it was so eye-opening. Like, life had to really life had to happen. So life had to happen for her to say, hey, I got mouths to feed by any means necessary. I'm not too proud, not too ashamed to work anywhere. And she just, and she works there. And I said, oh, it's wow, like, there's such a need for this. There are people who are not passing this exam like me. There are people who have taken the exam multiple times like me. And it's truly a need for it. And I decided to be very bold and say, I didn't pass the exam. And it's okay. I got over it. Granted, I can boast about myself saying, like, I practiced after failing the exam a year, about the finally being licensed, within 1.5 years of being licensed as a pharmacist. I worked in 3 different sectors of pharmacy, and that's really unheard of. Most people in a career takes years for that to happen, but for me, I was able to do it. So for me, that was like something big for me to do, and I was really excited about that. But y'all ain't here for all that story. Y'all hear about these big mistakes that pharmacists make when studying for the exam. But I say all to say, honestly, to say that because I've been coaching over the years and I got into it, these are some mistakes that I have seen pharmacists do. And even before I'll say those who are my client or those who are not, like, just common things I have seen when I go into pharmacy schools and talk to the students prior to them taking the exam, when I do workshops and things of that nature at schools. So some of the things I see, and one of those mistakes is lack of structure. Many pharmacists start studying without a clear plan, which leads to the miscontent and inefficiency. Those like is that lack of structured plan. They don't have a plan, and they do have a structured plan. It's also often to underperform due to their inconsistent study habits. It's one of the key things, not having a structured plan. And what do you say? What does a structure like a structure looks like? Structure looks like truly having a study routine before you even start studying the exam, while you're studying the exam, and after you study the exam. Like I can have study sessions. Like, it's truly you lacking the structure. So one particular client, I remember, this was a couple years ago. She didn't have a problem with the material per se. It was literally her structure plan. She knew all the answers, and it's to the point where I remember when one coach called, was like, Dr. Owens, girl, how I can't understand how you failed the exam, because you know all the answers, you get everything right. What is it? And it was her routines. She let structure to boost that confidence. She needed the structure to just truly boost her confidence. And we identified that. We started with the morning routine and getting her to work out a lot. Working on her body, her mindset changed. It's when that confidence came just by doing other things. She became confident with studying. And she was just ready. She knew the material and she just ready to study. So it's like, and we switched her to a structured plan, saying, okay, not only we have your pre-study sessions, like your pre-workout ready, because and I think that's how you should treat in that place, like a workout. That's our pre-workout. You know, sometimes people do protein shakes and things of this nature. Your pre-workout going to be literally your routine, your morning routine before you start studying, and then your workout is going to be your actual study sessions. And so with that workout, you know, as just say if I was a trainer, right? And the trainer would be, okay, during this session, we're going to focus on this part of the body and that part of the body. And that's what we did, saying during this session, we'll focus on this and this. During this week, we're going to cover this whole entire thing. And we're going to break it down. And that helped her a lot, because she was able to see the disease states, the systems across each other, how they start interlining, intertwining with each other, and how it all makes sense. Like all this big information became so small, and how this web, you start to connect the dots. And that's one of the things we was able to do by having her a true structure when she works out, right? And then her post-workout, right? You gotta have a post-workout, and what's that routine look like? You know, post-workout, you cool down, you stretch and things of this nature. So what's her post-workout routine? And that's one of the key things we did by simply adding that structure to her routine, because she was good with the information. She just needed structure and studying. And we switched her to a structure plan, her pre-workout, workout, and post-workout routines and structure plans. Her performance improved. She passed the exam. And just, it was one of those things, just making it simple, not overwhelming her. So that's one of the first mistakes that I have seen pharmacists make when studying for the NAPLAS exam. The second mistake is overloading on resources. You can use too many study resources, because when you do that, when you use so meaning, like, say for instance, you you already have your prep book, you already had the study, so someone says, well, I believe this company is better, so then you go switch that, buy that company, and I believe this product was better, then you go stop and do that product, and then get along, someone creates, these are my notes I created, oh, let me study those notes. It's all those things which, having too many resources can be overwhelming and counterproductive. It's just like with this planner, right? Pastor Naplex and 40 Days Study Planner. I had all the ideas of different things I wanted to do, and I was like, oh, especially this study. I'm telling you, especially with the to-do list. So I wanted to be an effective study planner where I give you the freedom to create your study plan, create your to-do list. However, when it comes to studying certain topics, I wanted to give that to you. I wanted that to be a built-in study plan because I want to create that structure, right? And I realized I'm probably overloading you with too many. Like, I was like, I want you to do this and do this and do that. I was like, that probably becomes overwhelming. So let me pull back. Let me dumb that down sometimes, right? It's one of those things of, I want this study planner to be, you have this study planner, and this is your prep book, your resource you already have, and I want you to say, okay, today's to-do list says I need to study, let's say dyslipidemia. I need to study dyslipidemia. I need to review this topic, and I need to test on this. And simply just doing those things, and that's okay. Like, it's, and then going to your study resource and doing that. Just not overcomplicating things, not overwhelming, because that's one of the key things when you use so much different resources. It actually decreases your retention. It actually is information overload. There's a whole study about this, where when you have so many multiple resources, you experience information overload, and you're just constantly being overstimulated, and then it's like, I don't know what to do. This is too much. This is not gonna do this. I gotta do that, and you just get overwhelmed to the point where you quit. And it's like, at one point you just stop learning them stuff. You just stop. Your brain can't retain the information. It truly can't, and that's one of the key things that I wanted this planner to do. I wanted to focus on those high-year resources to make sure that if bare minimum, I know people want to do, like, if you only focus on today's topics, today's hit list of studying, if you only focus on that, I wanted you to be okay with that. Like, I wanted you to, if you only focus on these three things and you didn't do anything else, that's okay. Because I don't want to overwhelm you. Like, that's one of the things that the planner does, is to help you focus on the high yield resources, to focus on the high yield concepts, and not overwhelming you at all. That's definitely the second mistake, is overloading on resources. The first mistake was lack of structure. Now the third mistake is ignoring practices tests. Now the thing is, I always prefer you to study the material first to really understand it, but you also have to practice. You have to do practice tests, and sometimes people don't have the balance. They either spend too much time on the practice test, or they don't do it at all. And the thing is, you got to have a balance. You don't want to ignore practice tests at all, because you can be really miss out on critical details that you didn't think was important. Because it's just like like your exam in school, right? You remember when your teacher tests on you, was like, I ain't think to study. I thought that was gonna be important, and they go put that on the test. It's the same kind of way. Like, Your prep books sometimes have material, and not all material. They do have some material where they think like this is important. This is a likelihood you might sit on your exam, or this is not even just on your exam. This is something you should just know as a pharmacist. You are a healthcare provider. This is something a key concept that we deem very important. You should know, and you have to take practice tests. And one of the things too is practice tests. They really reinforce your knowledge, but it also, the key thing I like to use, I would say practice test is you want to make sure that you're building your exam taking stamina and confidence. Because the thing is, most of the time when people start studying, doing quizzes, you take a quiz, it's so overwhelming, you fail, you didn't like it, so then you stop studying, you stop taking practice exams. But you need that, because I always tell my clients, don't wait until the exam day to be in a sitting and you to take 225 questions. 250 questions. Don't wait until then. Do it beforehand. Don't wait. Don't wait until the exam to do that. So you have to take those practice tests, because it really truly building that exam taking stamina. One of the key things I do, and that's part of the system that I actually teach my clients, is to make sure you take exams. But I have a system to mine, I'll say y'all gotta pay for that now. Can't get all my free stuff. I'm just saying though, right? And also too, and yeah, I was like, that's definitely those are three. Those are definitely three mistakes that I've seen pharmacists have. And that's one of the key things I wanted to make sure I have in this Passing That Flex 40 Days study planner. I wanted that structure. I want you to have an outline, a step-by-step study plan. Not only that you have it just saying, okay, day 1, study this. Day 2, study that. Day 3, study this. I want to curate that. And I also wanted to help you with the resources, like help you minimize resources, to say, by having this study plan, to study on this and that, like not going all over here or whatever. Here are the study topics. Just focus on this material and let that be that. Don't go through everything else. Like the only 2 things you're going to need is a study planner and your prep book that you have. That's all you're going to need. Simple. Those 2 things, and let that be that. Keep it simple, not having overwhelming things, because the thing is, your prep book has quizzes and things of this nature, and also the planner has quizzes, and that's one of the things of like lacking practice tests. That's one of the benefits of this planner, is that every single day you have a quiz on the material you're supposed to be covered. It could be a quiz, and it's also, there are some days where there is a random, you have more questions of, like some days when you don't study, because some days I say today is not a study day, today's review the stuff you just covered these past couple of days. And then that way you have more, and then take this practice test. And it'll be questions from days prior that you're supposed to be, the material's been covered, to make sure you're reinforcing that you understand the knowledge. And it's building your confidence. That's definitely one of the things that I wanted to do with this planner. And I wanted to make sure that it was just not just something simple, but it had a holistic approach. And yeah, I wanted to make sure that, I'm thinking I'll probably do a walkthrough of the planner soon. I don't know when, but definitely want to get, if you want to walk through the planner and get the idea like what it looks like, comment below. I want to know. Let me know. Okay, let me know. And I also want to encourage you to avoid all these common mistakes I've just mentioned. Avoid this by purchasing the planner. We're going to do a limited time offer discount for those. And for a limited time, we'll do a discount. I'll put the link below. But definitely make sure, because we want to know, like, we want to know how you, we want to know how, like, because the thing is, I'm really considering doing the planner plus a challenge. And I know it'll be a limited time discount. And I just want to know first, before I do all these things, do you want it, right? So let me know if you want this or not, okay? I need to know. Comment below, all right? But until next time, I think that's all I have. I want to make sure that you do avoid these mistakes in all seriousness. Make sure you avoid these mistakes. These are common 3 mistakes I see all the time. They lack structure. They most pharmacists lack structure and study for the NAPLAX exam. They have too many resources, and 3, they do not do enough practices. Do not practice enough tests or do quizzes and things of this nature. So I want to make sure that you understand to do those things, and yeah, make sure you do those things, especially number 2. Like, stop overwhelming yourself with all these different resources. As I said all last month, this whole thing, keep it simple, sweetie. Just keep it simple, okay? So we're gonna keep it simple. All right. Until next time, remember that pharmacy is on them if you are. Now go be great. Talk to you guys later. I was like, peace.